My name is Laura Mallory Sayre.
And I'm Frank Sayre.
We are honored to be the founders of the Daniel R. Sayre Memorial Foundation, which honors individuals in the Hawaii Fire Department each year for meritorious service above and beyond the call of duty. We started this event 23 years ago when our son was killed in a hiking accident at Pololu Valley. And it took the Hawaii Fire Department, their rescue team from Waiakea, and pilot David Okita over 10 hours to recover our son at great risk to their own lives. And so we thought it was fitting to start an awards program for these individuals who go above and beyond the call of duty. It's been very difficult this year with the pandemic and also with the loss of two of our fire department family. John Hara, who was a fire medical specialist, and also with Eric Hayashi, who was a fire equipment operator, better known as Buddha. And our hearts go out to our fire department family. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to have the awards dinner due to the pandemic, but we are going to try to simulate the actual awards and the videos that we normally have. What we're wanting to do is to talk a little bit about the three events that we are going to be honoring this year and the individuals who have deserved the award for meritorious service above and beyond the call of duty. The very first individual that we're going to be honoring this year is Water Safety Officer 2, Mark Collins.
At the end of our shift, heard the call for a fisherman that fell off the cliff down at McKenzie State Park.
Mark was instrumental in saving a fisherman who had been swept off the cliffs. Mark did not hesitate during very high surf, really rough conditions.
Yeah, the day was a rough day, strong winds, pretty high surf. As soon as the call went out, my captain called and I answered it on the first ring, and he said, "Do you want to go?" I said, "I'm going." Got in my personal vehicle and went down to McKenzie State Park. When I got down to McKenzie, I was looking for a big commotion, but I didn't see any commotion anywhere. I started running north and got over a couple areas, and I saw a person standing on the cliff. Ran up to him, and he said his friend fell into the ocean. His friend is about 200 yards out. I tried to go reach the ocean at that point by climbing down this cliff, but it was too dangerous. I climbed back up. I told his friend, I said, "You stand right here. This is very important because once I get in the water, I'm not going to be able to see your friend because the ocean was just so rough that day. It was just short interval swell and white caps." And I said, "You stand right here and you let me know, like, if I need to go to the right, you go to the right. If I need to go left, you tell me to go to the left. If I need to go further out, you go further out. If I have to go behind, you go behind. Do you understand that?" And he goes, "I understand that." I go, "Are you in contact with fire control right now?" He goes, "I got them on the line." I go, "Well, don't hang up." I go, "Whatever you do, don't hang up. You stay on the line and you tell them play by play exactly what's going on." So I headed down the coast, made about 400 yards to a safer spot where I could rock climb down about 20 feet, and then go across like mid-face of this cliff, then jump in about 20 feet down into the ocean at the spot where I knew it was safe to jump in.
And he was able to get to this person just prior to the person going down.
And then about 10 feet from the victim, I stopped. The victim was holding on to like this little cooler and kind of had it upside down for the air was trapped in it. Hair was like over his eyes and kind of over his mouth and just holding on. I was like, "Hey, I'm a lifeguard. Hey, you're okay." And it's still just no response. "Okay, I'm gonna put this tube around you. You're gonna be okay." So I put the tube around him, and finally he got the first words out, and his first words was like, I'm gonna die." I go, "You're not gonna die." And then his eyes just like closed. And when his eyes closed, I just shook him. I was like, "Hey, wake up. You gotta keep awake here. You gotta help me. I need your help." He'd be okay for about 3-4 minutes, and his eyes would just close again. And put his head back up, try to keep his head up. Like, "Hey, keep your eyes open. You know, they're coming."
due to Mark's quick actions and his willingness to go out, and this individual was able to be saved.
Couldn't help but think of all the resources that were being used that day and just be part of that team, be part of the Hawaii Fire Department. And it was a real team effort, like it really was. Fire control, the helicopter pilot, and the rescue man coming out and bringing us back to land. The responding units, Engine 10 and EMS providing transport for this victim. My partner for his willingness to man the tower by himself while I went on this, and my captain's willingness to trust me and to send me out. I know he was really stressed out for that 45 minutes. That's what he told me after. But yeah, it was a big team effort, and I was one part of it. And I'm really fortunate. I feel very blessed to receive this award and be recognized. But I'm very thankful for the Daniel Sayre Foundation, for you guys' willingness to support us with essential equipment that gives me the chance to make it home safe to my family at the end of the day.
What we've discovered through presenting this award is that Mark has done this numerous times over the years, not just this time, but many, many other times as well. So we are so honored to be able to honor him. Mahalo to Mark for all of your years of amazing service.
In early December 2018, we were dispatched to a call. It was just before 1 a.m.
Yeah, this occurred in Waipunalei in the Hamakua district.
And the entire rescue team went out to try to save these two PE pickers.
Well, knowing that the terrain was going to be super muddy, pretty dangerous. The Hamakua coast is pretty steep.
It's an area of high cliffs between the two gulches there.
Cliffs drop off pretty sudden, pretty far down.
It was pouring rain the whole way there, all the way from Waikea, all the way up to Lapahoihoi.
It was pouring out. And I remember responding from Hilo, just thinking like, oh my God, there's waterfalls everywhere.
We got out there, we met up with Engine 17.
And he was able to get a great situation update to myself and the rescue company who are coming from Hilo, as well as the guys on the medic who are coming from Honoka'a.
And he gave us a quick rundown of what the reporting party was saying.
They had met with one of the OP pickers who had made it up the rope, but there was two of his friends that were still down. One on the cliff hanging onto a tree, and the other one was down on the bottom.
We got all our gear together. It was kind of a far hike.
It was about a quarter-mile hike from the road. We had to get all our equipment, our harnesses and ropes and all our hardware.
It's kind of a lot of equipment to carry down. Luckily, there was a bunch of us up there. Medic 8 guys came. They assisted us with getting some of the equipment down.
At the end is just this narrow strip of hollow trees. The pasture had a bottom fence line.
Basically had to cut trail down this muddy, steep hill to access the edge.
And their leaves coated everything in this hollow grove.
It was really wet, so slippery, muddy.
Pretty treacherous.
It was crazy. Like there was no step you could make without it being unsecured.
The hill that they went down was about 45-degree angle just to get to the edge of the cliff.
And if you think about a 45-degree slope is 1 foot down for every foot forward. It is steep.
You can't really see the hill that we're walking down with your headlamp, and your headlamp is only shining 2 feet in front of you because the rain's coming down so hard.
So they had to come up with anchors set back probably about 50 yards from the edge. Captain Masuda, gave us our assignments. My assignment was to be lowered down the cliff.
There was a huge risk to Daniel going down the side.
So they lowered me down. Once I saw him, I was just calming, reassuring him, letting him know that we were coming for him and just to hang on, we're almost there.
He used what's called a pick-off harness, And it's basically a harness that you can come up and kind of rapidly clip into them, and then both of you are secured via a harness.
Got him hooked up to our ropes.
We were able to raise him up and bring both them up safely.
So once we assisted the first patient up, we reset the system.
They lowered me back down to the second patient who was down on the shoreline.
Same process, but a much longer haul.
You know, Danny was the rescue man, so he went back down, secured the second patient, brought him back up.
And the whole time that we were doing this, I mean, it was just pouring. I can't tell you how much that complicates everything. Chemo as the edgeman, he's a critical communication role. At a certain point, Daniel just disappeared into this, shaft of rain falling down as chemo looked down.
It wasn't a perfect situation, of course.
And in honoring Daniel, we also wanted to provide special recognition to the team that helped Daniel save these two individuals.
Throughout this whole process, Company 17, Medic 8, and the rest of the Company 2 crew, we're all doing our part as a haul team, for the main line, Bill A line.
The two guys on the medic and the two guys at Company 17, they really helped us in that we had a thin crew there. For raising two people up a long cliff like that, they really carried more than their weight. They did a great job, and couldn't have done it without them.
So it was an amazing team effort, and it was an incredible rescue.
It stood out as one of those great high-angle rescues. Having been around a lot of impressive rescues in my time, this was one of those great ones.
The Daniel R. Sayre Memorial Foundation is extremely proud to present the award for meritorious service above and beyond the call of duty to Daniel Okamura. The third event that we will be honoring for the 23rd Annual Awards event took place on Mauna Kea.
We get a call about 9 at night for an injured hiker on Mauna Kea.
An individual who had been taking photographs off trail and fell and broke his leg.
He says he thinks his right femur is fractured, so that's a bad fracture. The temperature has already dropped. It's probably about 30 degrees.
He was able to get cell phone contact and report his situation where he was not able to extricate himself from the mountain.
We made it to the top of the mountain. We met with Company 50, and we got together with the group that was actually going to hike in.
We get the GPS coordinates. We're at the top by the observatories, and it shows that he's like directly below us.
And he was about a mile or more off down the backside of the mountain.
There's no roads to get there, so there was no road that we could drive to get any closer to him that we could have, other than being at the very top of the observatory where he parked and walked down.
And when we got to him, he was in shorts and a windbreaker, I think.
And we put him in the skeds, and we package him up. And he's a big guy. He's, I would say, over 6 feet, 200 pounds.
He was a large guy, so he had to put up with some stuff too. He was definitely in pain, and he was definitely cold, but he was super fortunate the weather conditions were favorable. It was clear out, and I think all of us were lucky that whole night. It never rained.
So during the rescue, we had to be mindful of symptoms of altitude sickness. The air is thin, and it took a while to recover and catch your breath after each movement.
Multiple times where you'd set the guy down and you stand up and you're totally dizzy, lightheaded.
Our station's at sea level, and we went from sea level to 13,000 plus feet. We were very worried about altitude sickness, and we didn't have any time to acclimate at like 9,000 feet prior to getting up to the top because time was of the essence. And we had to monitor each other and monitor ourselves and be honest, like if you're having a problem that we need to take a break.
Because you don't really know how the lack of oxygen is going to affect you until you're in it.
There were some lifts and stuff like that where we had to take longer breaks to let everybody recover so we could keep going because we couldn't afford to have another medical emergency or someone get hurt. We all had to make it out in one trip. by the time we got to the top, we were done. That was it. It was a one-way trip.
Took over 3.5 hours to navigate the 1 mile distance and the 700-foot elevation gain while carrying the patient. The rescuers worked tirelessly despite an air temperature in the 30s and altitude sickness.
He was very grateful and apologetic because it took so long and it was so hard for him to carry him up. But yeah, he was a good sport. It was hard, and it'd be hard to be in a skids for that long.
It took several teams to provide this rescue for the individual.
Over the years, we've done multiple rescues with Company 50, so we've created a good relationship, a good working relationship with those guys. And
there's no way 4 of us would be able to carry him out. It took 10 of us, and it took a rotation, and it was hard for everybody involved.
We needed each other. It was a good interagency, operation that came out well, and that's why I think it's important that they be recognized for this.
And it took a lot of teamwork, but it was a long haul.
The Daniel R. Sayre Memorial Foundation is extremely proud to present the award for meritorious service above and beyond the call of duty to Hawaii Fire Department Company 2 and Medic 3. And we're also providing special recognition for other members of the team that assisted the Hawaii Fire Department, the Pahakaloa Training Area Team, and also Mauna Kea Ranger, Oscar Paoa. Thank you so much for all that you do for our community each year. We're extremely proud to present this very well-deserved award to you. One of the reasons that we have our foundation is to save lives. Most of you know our 25-year-old son fell off a cliff at Pololu in 1997, and we watched in awe while all of you did what you're trained to do and do so well. And it was pretty awesome to watch. Just being able to have that closure was huge for us. And we decided, with Dan's inspiration, that we needed to do something to honor those of you who go above and beyond the call of duty each and every year. We know that you just consider it your job and you're all humble and you don't think you deserve any recognition, but you do. And we wanted our community to be able to say thank you every year.
From tragedy, we got this blessing.
The efforts and the money that you've given to the county and the equipment doesn't only save people. You talk about the rescuing of people, doing more rescues and recoveries. You're also saving firefighters.
So we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep helping as much as we possibly can to provide you with the equipment and the training that you deserve to have to make your lives safer as you go out on these missions.